Station Alpha, stand by the side.
International Space Station crew members visible on the hatch window into the Unity module as the shuttle on station orbit 238 miles over the South Pacific, about to cross over the southern tip of South America.
Alpha Endeavor, the crew request permission to come aboard.
Endeavor, permission granted. Endeavor, arriving.
And Alpha Endeavor, we're with you inside the node. Looks great. Can you check to make sure you're hitting the transmit button?
And can you just make sure we got everybody in the screen? We'll give you a big wave.
We have you loud and clear now.
Big wave anyway.
Let me get a picture for a second. They probably can't talk to you while we're filming.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Alright, so you guys need
Before you guys go, just on behalf of the crew on Alpha, I'd like to commend Endeavor and its crew for the tremendous technical challenge and the great achievements putting P6 together. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you guys.
These are the guys right here.
I can't think of a mission that we've flown in a long time that's been a bigger challenge. You guys just did awesome. And Houston, anything more for Alpha or Endeavor for the next couple minutes?
You guys want to come back?
Nothing more for a while.
Okay, we're going to get oriented here and we'll get back to you.
We copy. Thanks for letting us share in that.
Okay, glad it came down well.
Endeavor, Houston's on the flight deck.
They are pretty impressed with the arrays.
I can imagine.
This is Mission Control Houston, International Space Station Commander Bill Shepard, Flight Engineer Sergei Krikalev, and Pilot Soyuz Commander Yuri Gidzenko up on the flight deck of Endeavor, taking a look out the overhead windows and the aft windows at the new additions to their home in space. It's a view of the station's outermost compartment, pressurized mating adapter 3, to which Endeavor is docked. Compartment that the crew opened up twice, 3 times actually, prior to opening the final hatch into the station this morning, and left supplies in this outermost compartment, which were later retrieved by the station crew.
We're in the node. You can take the node camera if you'd like.
crew members now inside the Unity module of the International Space Station. That the United States built connector module, a six-sided connector for the station. That six-sided connector now with modules and compartments attached to 4 of its 6 hatches.
Okay, we're on payload 2, and we have great downlink.
Station's ship's bell seen there in the Unity module. Brent Jett, the commander of Endeavour, is a U.S. Navy commander, and Bill Shepard, the station commander, is a U.S. Navy captain. They have exercised Navy traditions in much of the mission, in the rendezvous and docking, and also today in the opening of the hatch, with Jett requesting permission to come aboard from Shepard as they open the hatch to the station. This view is looking down the length of the station now through the cone-shaped adapter that attaches the Unity module to the station's Zarya module. That the middle module of the station. Zarya was the first component of the International Space Station to reach space, launched from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan in 1998. The view now continuing into the station, this into the outermost compartment of the Zvezda living quarters module, a spherical compartment also similar to the one at the front of the Zarya module, and through the hatch, the main compartment of the station's living quarters. As Sergei Krikalev, a flight engineer aboard the station, is in the foreground in this view. This is a view down at the window in the Zvezda living quarters module. So we continue to receive live television from on board the International Space Station in the Zvezda living quarters, home for the 3-member station crew. Seen here, flight engineer Sergei Krikalev of the station crew, and on the right-hand side of the screen, pilot Yuri Gidzenko, who've been aboard the station for over a month.
And Endeavour Houston for Brent, thanks for your suggestion, but we're going to go ahead and do DTO 261 without IWAS, and we need the 14.7 repress steps in the EasyCat completed before we can start into this DTO.
Okay, we'll work 14.7 repress and then 261.
That last view in view behind Yuri Gidzenko here is the one of the 2 living quarters on the station, crew quarters, the sleeping compartments. That's last communications between Commander Brent Jett and spacecraft communicator astronaut Shannon Lucid here in Mission Control, dealt with an upcoming test on board that detailed test objective, or DTO 261, which involves firing the shuttle's jets while the reactions of the solar rays and the station's structure is monitored with television cameras in the payload bay of Endeavour, watching those structures just to gauge, better characterize the impact of jet firings on the station's structures and the newly installed 240-foot wingspan solar arrays. That test objective will take up about an hour and a half of time for the crew, beginning just about a half an hour from now. Again, for it, Commander Brent Jet fires Endeavour steering jets, and using television cameras, the reaction of the newly installed solar arrays is gauged. This is a view of a crew quarters compartment on board the station with the sleeping bag used by the crew, a window for each crew member. The tip of one solar array can be seen out this window. Second crew quarters in view now, directly opposite.
Looking ahead just a little bit, could you discuss the milestones that your team on the station needs to accomplish before the lab gets to the station, presumably in January?
Well, I think the biggest things that we've got left are basically cleanup from having P6 aboard, which is the solar power array, making sure that the gyros are happy, that are keeping us, we're going to keep us lined up after we can control them when the lab's here. That's the main thing we've got left.
Ever since you've been up there, the news has been full of never-ending election coverage, and are you keeping track of all that up there? Do you wish you had more news on what's going on in this drawn-out election? Do you feel sort of isolated in this regard?
Well, actually, I'm kind of glad we've been in space for
I'm kind of glad we're missing.
We get pretty good coverage of the news of the day through Houston. We've been keeping track of it, but as I say, I'm glad I'm kind of out of it.
Besides family and friends, what have you missed the most during your station stay, and what's the one thing you enjoyed the most that the Endeavour crew brought to you?
I think I enjoyed, I got some tools and a letter from my wife. I enjoyed that, and the thing I missed the most outside of family is my dog.
I just wanted to ask if you guys were surprised by how easily the repair job went yesterday.
I'd say we might have been a bit surprised that we got it on the first try. We had studied the work that the folks on the ground had done, a tremendous amount of work to get ready for that, and we knew exactly what they wanted us to do. Had studied video and looked at the procedure over and over. So I was going into it expecting to be successful, and then said that I told Brett I'd be overjoyed if we got it on the first try. So I guess I was overjoyed twice, because it really did work just exactly like they predicted it would. I'll let Carlos say something too. I'm not sure how much more to add. We knew that they'd done a good job on the ground. We'd seen the video over and over quite a few times, so that we knew what they wanted us to do. We just wanted to make sure that it was actually like that when we got there. We weren't sure the actual portable port restraint locations would be exactly right. The first pair were exactly right. Only one of the four had to be adjusted. But the actual task turned out to be just like the video, and we were glad it worked out just as expected.
You talked about how you got to see nighttime and daytime and winter and summer all within 90 minutes. Could you reiterate that for us? I mean, what is one of the most amazing things that you see when you look out the window?
Well, to be honest with you, the most amazing thing I see when I look out the window, I'm looking at the Earth and a lot of places around the planet that look kind of strange. And I'm thinking there isn't any good reason why we should be looking only at Earth. We should be going other places and looking at other planets to go. And I think that's part of the reason why we're building space stations and part of the reason why we need to keep doing what we're doing.
The first resident crew on the International Space Station, which is now powered by the largest solar array wings ever flown in space, were ready Friday morning to greet their first onboard visitors, the crew of Space Shuttle Endeavour, who delivered and installed the station's new power system. Station Commander Bill Shepard and Shuttle Commander Brent Jett, both U.S. Navy officers, stood by on opposite sides of the hatch of the station's pressurized mating adapter 3.
On Station Alpha, stand by the side.
Alpha Endeavour, the crew request permission to come aboard.
Endeavour, permission granted. Endeavour, arriving.
And Alpha Endeavour, we're with you inside the node. Looks great.
After Shepard thanked Jett and his crewmates for their work with the P-6 truss structure, the shuttle commander brought Shepard and his crewmates, Yuri Gidzenko and Sergei Krikalev, to Endeavour's flight deck for a view of the solar arrays they can't get from inside the station. Then all 8 men began to make their way through the station, out of the shuttle and through PMA-3 into the Unity module. From there, into the Zarya control module, past stored equipment and supplies, and into Zvezda, where the station crew lives and works. After a safety briefing, the 8 astronauts and cosmonauts spent the next several hours on a number of tasks, firing shuttle boosters to test the structural response of the station's new solar arrays and radiators, completing the installation of a camera system to be used during installation of the U.S. lab module Destiny on the shuttle mission scheduled for next month, transferring supplies and equipment between the 2 vehicles, conducting maintenance, and enjoying their time together inside the shuttle station complex. Friday afternoon, they gathered in Zvezda to discuss their missions. The expedition crew reflected on its progress on the station since arriving 5 weeks ago.
I think that the team, Sergei, Yuri, and I, we've had certainly a challenging several weeks. We're getting along great. It's kind of hard on the ground sometimes to appreciate what we're doing on board and vice versa. I think it's a tremendous, to the tremendous credit of the team, both in Moscow and Houston, that we've gotten done as much as we have. I think it's easy to second guess and say, well, things could have gone better, but I think the progress has been really outstanding, and I'm hoping it's going to get a lot better.
My opinion that it's going really well. We have a relatively small crew on the station, and we have a lot of things to do, so everyone doing his best to have the job done. So we are working as a team. There is no even kind of split of responsibility. If someone has a problem, we all together are going to help to perform this task.
And I think it doesn't matter which place you are from. We have to work together like one giant team, and we try to do it.
Mission Specialist Mark Garneau of the Canadian Space Agency was asked to describe what it was like when he entered the new space station for the first time.
Well, it was a great experience coming into the station because it was my first time, and fortunately I'd seen all of the modules. I went over to Russia about 2 years ago and had a chance to go inside the service module and have a good look around on a couple of occasions, and I'd seen the node at the Kennedy Space Center, so I had a pretty good idea, and I've been looking at it from outside the front windows on the orbiter. It's very bright. Some of the colors are a little bit different in the Russian segment. It's nice to have that contrast. It's a little bit longer than I had imagined when I floated all the way through. You can really have a good run at trying to fly like Superman for about 25 yards, I guess. But no big surprises, just very nice, and it looks like a home.
Pilot Mike Bloomfield, who will be at the controls of Endeavour as it undocks, was asked about the view he expects as he flies around the station.
Well, I think it'll be awesome. We have 3 cameras on the outside of the shuttle that we can use to take pictures of video as we're going around. We also have inside 2 Hasselblads, and we have the 35 millimeter as well. And when we do the fly around, we'll be looking out the overhead window, and we'll have the opportunity to take pictures both as the station is coming into the view of the Earth, and also as it's leaving the view of the Earth and going back with a black background of space. So I think we'll be able to come back with some pretty awesome pictures. And we also have some pretty big lenses on those cameras, so we can kind of pick whatever type of picture we want.
Endeavour's astronauts finished their workday Friday evening with a review of plans for Saturday's main activity, undocking from the International Space Station, and the start of the final leg of their 11-day flight, leaving the expedition crew members to begin the second stage of their 4-month mission.